Hi guys, I have an interesting experience to share with you. So, the other night I was laying down. I had gotten this new thing called Mesmerize, where you can like watch something and it just makes your eyes tired. I swear it doesn't really do like it's almost like the old fashioned you are getting sleepy thing. But it doesn't really work that way. But with it comes some guided meditation, things like that. So I basically had it on my chest and closed my eyes, but it was doing binaural beats, which tend to really help me travel. So right away I knew I was going to travel because I got that pit in my stomach feeling. I could kind of feel the vibration. I could feel myself lighten up. And I've been doing this one called Feather from Monroe Institute that's really good. And it was almost like, even though I wasn't listening to Feather at that point, but Feather had brought me to a place after doing it a few times that I could like kind of remember and click right over. So I click over, right? And I'm in my bedroom. And it's one of those ones where like I instantly know I'm over. I am not like, oh, what happened? Like I knew I was over. So I have no plan in my head. Like, wasn't like I was thinking about Jeff or this and that. I have no plan. But what was crazy was what happened afterwards. So I'm sitting on the edge of my bed and I look down my hallway and there's the portal. Oh, and recently the portal's been making like some noise and some shadow people stuff like that. So I like can't believe how wrong I was about the portal. Like I'm completely wrong. I thought the portal was like a portal that would let me go from this realm to the realm beyond the veil, like to where people are who have passed on and this and that. But I guess there's a lot of different ones or something. So what happens is I look down the hallway and there's the portal, only it doesn't look the same as it does when I'm just looking at it, or the videos I've showed you of it where it's just kind of like that wavering heat looking. It looks like somebody's got like hot pavement, like, because that's what it does. It does like this ripple effect. Only now I'm out of body, so I'm somewhere else. I'm in like a parallel universe somewhere else. And I look down the hallway and it's sending out like this blue cast that you don't see on this side of the veil. When you're walking down my hallway, you don't see a blue cast like this, right? And the other thing that was so friggin' eye-opening is what I thought was ripples, like maybe when, I don't know, like steam meets air or something, and then that chemical effect or the heat or whatever. That's what I thought I was looking at on this side, like when I'm on this side, I'm not traveling out of my body. When I'm not out of my body, it looks like heat ripples. When you're out of your body, what you see is there is some sort of blue cast. You can see through it. It's not like solid. Almost like a blue cloud. How's that? But it's not really cloud-like. I don't know how to describe it. But blue is coming and is surrounded. Like that whole area had this blue thing. And what I perceive on my side is the ripple effect is actually the blue stuff coming out of the portal, but the portal isn't a straight rip or tear or cut. It is literally those ripples come because the edges of the portal are like torn. They're like all different. They're like do 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 do, like somebody tore something, not like a door or anything like that has straight edges. So what I see on this side when I do perceive it at all, that ripple effect is actually just the blue stuff coming through, and it's coming through something that's going like this, like the edges are torn, and it's doing this, like as things are going through it, almost like a torn curtain, and the light that's coming through it is not steady or even because the edges aren't of the torn curtain. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, the ripples are just this blue cast, like the edges of the blue cast. So I get up and I walk down the hallway and I get to it, right? And it's right on the edge. It's like right where my hallway meets and then the living room wall meets, like this. And it's right here that the portal is. So I'm standing there looking at it. I'm all close to it. I'm looking at it. So I take my hand and I put it, like try to put it through the portal. And it kind of resists it for a second. Like you almost feel something pushing slightly against it. Or no. Like you put your hand in water, like you feel a different density. When I didn't put my hand all the way through, I got really scared because as I did that, my hand lightened. Like I could see the ripple on my hand and I could see the blue like kind of lightening my hand. I was like afraid. What if and so then I was like, oh my God, well, where does this portal go to? Like, what the hell is on the other side of the portal? I thought the other side of the portal was where I go when I'm out of body. But now I'm out of body and there's still a portal. It's not clear what it is. Do you understand what I mean? Anyway, so I put my hand through it and it fades me seeing my hand. I can still see my hand, but there's like a shadow over it or something. And the edge is rickety, like, right? So I'm like, oh, and I pull back because I felt that. I felt like a difference in the weight of my hand for that moment. And so right away, I think back, which I shouldn't do because there's certain things that I've gone through out of body that are very scary. And if I think of them, I tend to jump back into my body, which is what happened. So as I'm doing that and feeling like the different weight in my hand being like almost heavier, or even though I can't see it solid, it wasn't that it lightened up. It felt like I was pushing against something a little bit, but not like all around it. Like once I went in, this part of my hand was like different somehow. And I thought about gravity. I was like, maybe it's different gravity because that's what it feels like. So I was like, oh, what if it's like the time I saw the Buffalo Man? And if you don't know that story and haven't heard about the Buffalo Man, holy crapoly, I didn't travel out of body for years after the Buffalo Man. I was so fucking scared. So real quick, I was in my apartment up the street. I hadn't bought this house yet. And I was out with a girlfriend, and I had a futon in my living room. So we came home, and I also had a candelabra that had 3 candles. 4 candles? I can't remember now. But anyway, it had candles. So we were laying down, push me, pull you. My head is at this side of the futon. Her head is at this side, and our feet are at, my feet, feet are at my head. So, and mine at hers. So we're lying down. We had gone out to dinner, and we had come back to the house. Kids are asleep. And this particular apartment I lived in had a front door and a back door. And the way I was lying, the back door was through the dining room, into the kitchen, out the back door, okay? But it was a straight shot from the back door to my head, because I'm laying back. The back door is like right behind me. And then the front door is this way. And so I start to close my eyes, and all of a sudden it felt like, oh my God, it felt like the weight of the world was on my chest. And I tried to open my eyes, and I couldn't open my eyes. And the candles were not lit when we laid down. And so something is pressing on my chest, pushing me down. I can't breathe. The air feels so heavy. And opening my eyes was so hard. And I finally opened my eyes and looked, and the candles are all lit. And I was like, who lit the candles? And I can't even move. And I said, oh my God, he's behind me. So just like the minute I had that thought, it was like boom, down, like somebody smashed my chest down. And I opened my eyes, and the candles were not lit, but smoke was coming from them. And I was like, what is going on? And then boom, back down. I kept trying to sit up, and if I would get like this far up, and then boom, something would smack me down. This goes on and on and on. There's a whole story somewhere in here about it. And then I turn around, like the whole time, I know he's behind me. I have no idea who he is, but I know he's there. And he wants me to, like, pop into this realm wherever I was going. And he's not going to be kind to me. So as this is all going off and on, and candles lit, candles not, all this, I, like, finally push myself up to a half sitting position and turn around to look, and what I see in the silhouette of the outside back door light, because it's dark, it's nighttime, and everything, all the lights are off except for one in the living room, and which where we were. And so I look down the hallway, and all I can see is the light is outside, and there's a window at the back door, a big window at the back door. So the light is shining through, and he is a silhouette. And it almost looked like, you know, the Indians that, like, put on the buffalo head on their head. And then, like, you've seen that, right? The head is huge because it's got the buffalo thing on it. Well, okay, so when I turn around and look, that's the only way I can describe it. I don't know because I couldn't see any detail. It was like, again, something punched this out of reality. It is so black that it feels like it's sucking me into the blackness of its silhouette. And it's the shadow or the shape of like the buffalo head, right? And then the size. And so its head is humongous. His head is massive. And then great big shoulders, tall thing. Great big shoulders. And it looked like a trench coat maybe, but I can't see any detail. It is pitch black, the blackest black I ever saw in my life. He is punched into this reality. So so he looks like he has a black or a trench coat. I don't want to say black trench coat, I don't know, but like a long duster coat and this headdress of a buffalo, or that was his head. I don't know, but I call him the Buffalo Man because that's the only thing I can like connect it to. If you want, I will try and draw this and just the outline to show you the shape. And he is standing in the doorway the entire, I don't even like talking about it. I just like saw a leaf fall over him, like move, and it makes me jumpy because he didn't want me, he wanted me to not be, I think he either wanted me out of his place or, and what was the creepiest thing was at the same time at my other house that I owned in Conowingo, where Jeb was staying, he was in my big room there, and there's 12-foot long glass, sliding glass doors in that house to the woods. And he had woken up like somewhere around midnight and was completely paralyzed in his bed, and all he knew was, it's coming. It's going to be here. It's going to take me. Like, I'm in danger. And he couldn't move. He said it felt like something was on his chest. And this is my son the same day, because the next day I called him to tell him what happened. And he was like, Mom, you would never believe what happened. I was like, what the fuck happened to our family last night? So I have no idea. But that stopped me for a lot, because and in the end, like, what happened was, in the end of it all, it, like, I pushed so hard, I feel like I pushed myself out of that realm back into my own, and I, like, kind of was sitting halfway up when I was like, ah! And I pushed myself out, like, because it felt like the gravity in his realm was so heavy that I could not move or breathe. The air was so thick, I couldn't breathe. When I popped out, the only thing I can tell you is all of my candles were smoking, like somebody had just blown them out, but we had never lit them. They were not lit when I went to sleep. So that story is in among this. I'm going to try and find it. If I can't, it's one of my earlier stories. I'll look for it. But anyway, that and Jeb also having that same kind of thing happen to him scared me so bad. I stayed away from astral projection for years, like stayed away from it. It would happen once in a while when I was like not aware, and I would be like, oh fuck, nope, and right back out, because I was so afraid I'd run into this thing again. He scared me that bad. And I've only had a couple scary things happen in astral projection, but that was one of them, and it was enough to scare me for a while. So anyway, getting back to that, when I put my hand through, it felt like that. It felt like gravity took hold, and it was heavier. Like I was putting my hand through water or something that gives you resistance. So the minute that happened, the next thing I thought of was Buffalo Head, and boom, I was back in my body because I was scared. But how crazy is it that the portal is not on the other side either? Like where I go when I go out of body. Oh, God. God, somebody save me from allergies. Do you know they even make my ears itch? Yeah. I'm sorry. I bitch all the time. You must be like, this lady never shuts the fuck up bitching. But anyway, how crazy is it that that tear in the portal is actually still a tear? And it's a tear, not a... I always thought of the portal like, oh, you want to come through? You just like, oh, open a door, open something, and you come through. Because I've talked to you about how, like, I can hear it sometimes, like the vacuum of it open and close. And so that's what I thought, but I'm wrong. The portal here in my house is completely different from the one that does that vacuum suck thing. Because this one, it's torn. It's like a tear. And I don't know if I should do something to try and mend it. I'm going to start looking stuff up. If you know of anything esoterically that I can do to mend this portal, it is not supposed to be here. Like, I always thought, oh, the portal's there because of me, because I, like, you know, it likes me and it follows me. Now, I'm catching something a little more sinister here, so I'm a little afraid of it now, where I wasn't before. And I'm not saying that other thing. And I think the more I talk about it or think about it, the more likely it'll show up. So I don't want to. And I'm not saying that's going to come through the portal and get me. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that because I don't know, and because it's torn, it's not like a door or something like, oh, well, you're so woke, we're going to put this here so you have an easy access. No, it's not like that at all. It's a tear. It's like you ripped your pants. So I'm wondering if I should heal it up, sew it up, something, repair it. And I don't know how, so if you know how, let me know. If you do some astral projection, please put your experiences down underneath, and I'll talk to you later because I got to go. But god damn, I didn't know that. The more I think I know, the less I know. That's what I find out. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish somebody knew more than me and could tell me, rather than me having to explore scary things. I don't want that, because most of my experiences, as I've told you before, are very positive, like so positive, like that I actually feel enlightened and lifted from those experiences. Yet, there's a couple that I don't feel that way about, and now I'm worried. So let me know. I love you guys. Bye.